Weekly update for Friday, March 22nd. And I want to thank everybody who participated in the Postcard from Hell Kickstarter. And I want to say fare thee well to everyone who's not going to be able to come up with $9 or $6 just quite that often. And this will be the only postcard from hell that they will be pledging for. And we'll see how many people are moving on to the next round with Postcard from Hell number 2. So speaking, one of the things that Sean told me happened at the end there with about 90 minutes to go. It was on the Sabbath, so I wasn't there for the ending. We're going to try and not have that happen again. We'll have the Kickstarter ending on a Saturday so that I can participate online. And Cerdic G from the UK donated $300 with about 90 minutes to go, which was pretty close to what, 20% of the revenue, 25% of the revenue. So thank you, performance above and beyond the call of duty. And he was responding to me, sending him a full-size copy of my X-Files cover that I did for IDW, because he was buying a couple of the Cerebus archive portfolios. And well, there you go. But what goes around comes around. He got something for free, and this way all 4 of the Cerebus in Hell team players is going to be getting another $75 US, which in my case works out to like $100 Canadian, which is a pretty good deal. And one of the things Cerdic asked about is, how's the wrist coming along? So here's your $300 update on the wrist. The bulge on the side here is down substantially. Whatever was inside the wrist is now down on the side instead of inside there. But actually, just in the last 2 weeks, another bulge has formed right about here on the back of the hand, and it's really itchy. It's like a giant mosquito bite. It's not as itchy today, and it's not red and puffy, but it's definitely puffy. So whatever's going on appears to have divided into 2 lumps, one which isn't as large as it was on this side, and one that is brand new just in the last couple of weeks, and goes from about here to about there. And I have no idea what that is, but there you go. But anyway, speaking of the wrist, and having rested it for a substantial length of time, I've been looking for, excuse me, I've been looking for stuff to work on, a piece that I could do to see if I'm going to be able to do any of the drawing on Volume 3 of Strange Death of Alex Raymond, or just mock-up drawing. Here's roughly what I want it to look like, Carson. You make it look the way it's supposed to. So this segues into another Cerebus in Hell thing. The nice thing about doing Cerebus in Hell is if you're trying to decide what's going to be done, what is going to be a Cerebus in Hell number 1, it's really pretty easy. If it comes through the fax machine and I look at it and I literally LOL, laugh out loud at what's on the fax, then that's a fail-safe. I think this one's in. So here's an example of a cover by Benjamin Hobbs that he faxed through, apologizing, saying really rough drawing. The lettering isn't finished. It's not really proportional to comic size. But here's just something that came into my head, so I knocked it together. And what it is a parody of Green Lantern Green Arrow, and saying, it appears your ward Cerebus is a junkie. And it's actually two Dantes, and the other Dante says, and he didn't save any heroin for us. And there you see Cerebus in the foreground. I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. And it's like, oh yeah, this one's definitely in. We got to work on that. And of course it's Neil Adams' classic cover, Green Lantern Green Arrow number 86, where Green Arrow's ward Speedy becomes a junkie. And because of stuff that's been going on in my own life, I went, oh, I think I know what I want to do with this. So this is, I did actually paste up the lettering on Benjamin's actual fax, but just this morning I knocked together my own composite, which is a little closer to Neil Adams' composition and the way that Neil Adams does stuff. And it's, instead of what Benjamin has, the green aardvark, green poet, it's going to be straight ahead green Virgil, green Dante, or green Dante, green Virgil. And it's going to, I'm using Benjamin's lines of dialogue. It appears your ward Cerebus is a junkie, and he didn't save any heroin for us. But I've added some dialogue for Dante going, no, this is Canada, where as long as it's consumed in a safe injection site, heroin is just another center-left urban lifestyle choice. There's plenty for all three of us. I'm talking about his obsessive scrolling through his Twitter feed. So that's my addition to the Cerebus the Junkie cover. And let's see, what can I show you this? I'm not sure if this is going to show up on the camera. We'll give it a try. Anyway, that's when I thought, well, okay, if you're going to try and find out if the wrist is actually capable of doing the kind of fine line inking that you're going to be wanting to do in Strange Death of Alex Raymond, maybe a good way to do that is a Neil Adams parody cover, because that's really to this day some of the best fine line inking that you're ever going to see in the comic book field. So I did this this blue line of Cerebus, trying to get as close to Neil's style as possible. It's a little hard to see on the tracing paper, but just putting it together with Cerebus clutching his arm, and meanwhile he's got his cell phone down here and is obsessively scrolling through his Twitter feed. So that's as far as I've gotten that right now. Let's try something absolutely brand new on the weekly update. If you are interested in owning the finished Green Dante, Green Virgil cover, this will all be done in stat form by Benjamin. He'll send it to Studio Comics Press, proportional to 10 by 15, and they'll print it out at 10 by 15. It won't be actually how the cover is done. The cover will be done in Photoshop, but it means we'll have a finished drawn cover of Green Virgil, Green Dante, and no guarantee of how good or how bad the Cerebus is going to be. This will be the first Cerebus that I've drawn in over a year. I think it's over a year. I don't think there were any Cerebus drawings in 2018. Might be wrong about that. Anyway, the package will include all of this. There's already the 3 pieces, Benjamin's Facts to Me, and my mock-up in actual comic book size, and the positions on the characters, and includes the tracing paper drawing of Cerebus with his cell phone, looking very, very sheepish, as a junkie should, except in Canada. If it's heroin or opioids, don't worry about it. It's just an urban center-left lifestyle choice. But the Twitter feed, I think we might need a 12-step program for that. Okay, so anybody wants to start the bidding, just put it down in the comments section below where I'm talking here and say, whatever happens with that, whatever way it ends up, I'm willing to bid, and then you say how much you're willing to bid, and we'll make that the bid. And we'll do this every week on the weekly update until we have a finished cover and a finished bid. And speaking of Cerebus in Hell #1s, hey, next Wednesday, the 27th of March, is the last Wednesday of the month. And you know what that means.
On the last Wednesday of every month, the new Cerebus in Hell #1.
That's right, it's Sim City, that issue after. Guaranteed, I'll go out on a limb here, guaranteed to be known as the most controversial Banjophobic comic book in history. We sent out some advance copies to people just to test the waters and see what kind of trouble we might be getting ourselves into here. And heard back. We've already had to take a word balloon out by the suggestion of the Banjo Lovers of America. Then we had to take another word balloon out on the inside front cover from a vague suggestion of violence by the very, very serious Banjo Lovers of America. Then we had to take another word balloon out due to a credible threat of bodily harm to all our persons by the Banjo Liberation Society. And then we had another word balloon here we took out that was redacted due to increasing social pressure and online harassment campaign orchestrated by the TBAFK, the Trans Banjo Alliance of Flowers and Kittens, which may just be one guy but in his basement, but man, is he persistent. You wouldn't believe it. And then we had another word balloon at the bottom here that we took out that was redacted. This word balloon just wasn't very funny. So there you go. Guaranteed to become the most Banjophobic comic book ever published. Ever. Most controversial. You can take that one to the bank. So thank you, and definitely rush out to your LCS on Wednesday, March 27th, because these banjo people don't mess around, and the issues could be seized the moment that they actually appear on the stands. Don't be surprised. Okay, that'll do it for the weekly update this week, and I hope to see a bunch of you next week. for, what will that one be? The 29th of March.